There's only one story making the headlines this morning, and to discuss that, we are joined by Nick Ferrari, Michelle Gayle and Camilla Tominey, and welcome all of you.
Hi, everyone.
Do you know what, Camilla? You were on the show with us yesterday as all of this was unfolding. Now Britain has had the chance to watch it. 12.3 million people did last night, and it just got me thinking that, you know, that day when I was working on the royal wedding, on that beautiful sunny day in Windsor Great Park, where the couple got married, where the hell did all this go wrong? Was it them? Was it her naivety that she had no idea what she was getting into? Was it us, the British people? Was it social media? Was it the press? Was it the palace? Was it the institution? Where did this go wrong? Because there was so much good feeling on that day.
Well, I think probably a combination of all of those factors. I think in the analysis of this, a bit of nuance has been lost. This kind of they said, Palace said battle loses the fact that actually people interpret events in their own ways. And although we've heard their truth on the Oprah sofa last night, actually there are others that contradict what they're saying and say it's not quite accurate. And equally, I think, yes, pressure on the couple to perform in a situation where they felt they weren't supported. You speak to others within the institution and they say, we bent over backwards to accommodate their demands. We know about the bullying allegations, so that's been suggested by former employees that they weren't always the easiest people to deal with. Equally, there's suggestions as well from them that the palace really kind of turned their back on them and made them feel isolated, whereas you speak to others inside who say, well, they kind of cut themselves off from us. And I think there are some in the family that might interpret it like that. So as with every story, there are always two sides. Obviously, we've seen in full Technicolor for 2 hours what the couple think, and they've made their narrative very plain. But as is the case with any breakdown in any relationship, anywhere in life, there's always going to be a counter-narrative. And I suppose that's what we're all trying to wade through this morning as we sort of emerge from the undoubted wreckage that has been left by this bombshell interview.
Well, one of the biggest bombshells was perhaps the fact that it was revealed that someone within the royal family had several discussions with Prince Harry about the implications of what would happen if a child of his and Meghan's were to be born dark-skinned. So Harry said he's not comfortable with sharing that. Camilla, we spoke yesterday, there was a lot of speculation then, well, who said it? Who is this person? Who is this racist within the royal family? Yesterday, this sort of got a bit more complicated because Oprah went on CBS and said that Harry had actually confirmed to her that it wasn't the Queen nor the Duke of Edinburgh. So, Michelle, where does this leave us?
This leaves us with, I hope, the country having a lot of compassion for Harry and Meghan in their position, because I know Camilla was saying there's some things, you know, that interpretation. But I don't think it's interpretation that Meghan was attacked by the press. And we've seen all the comparisons between stories about Kate and avocados and Meghan and avocados. And somewhere the tide turned. Now, in the interview, the couple said that they were insinuated anyway that stories were peddled about them in order to protect another member of the royal family. Yet no one seems to be trying to work out, well, who is this member of the royal family? And I know people in the press know there's a couple of stories about the royal family that are circulating around the world that are not reported here. So therefore, that rings true to me that they were sacrificed in order to protect someone else in this country in the royal family. So that leaves the royal family, I think, and I hope, with compassion for the couple. When someone talks about being suicidal, when we know the trauma that Harry's already been through, how we can't recognize that someone who was too young to protect his mother will not now that he's able to protect his wife, who seems to be going through, like he said, history repeating himself. This time, Harry has decided he's going to change the narrative. And I don't know anyone who can't sympathize with that. And I hope that the royal family, now hearing them more fully, with obviously they must be angry hearing it, but at the same point absorbing it and having compassion for them and seeing the comparisons with Diana and having a look at itself and the institution.
But Michelle, with something like this, and it's such a serious allegation, when you fire it out, we know it wasn't the Queen and we know it wasn't the Duke of Edinburgh, and so by not naming, and I can understand that they wouldn't want to name, but by telling that story and not naming, that's like a blunderbuss effect through the royal family. It sort of could be anyone. People are speculating now on other senior male members of the family that it could have been. When you throw a grenade like that indiscriminately, you're not pointing at any specific person. What it does do here and around the world is it tarnishes the entire family.
They were protecting the person. I mean, how anyone can't see that they wanted to protect that person, I don't know. They clearly wanted to protect that person. People will speculate, yes, but I think it's more for the royal family to look at itself and to wonder where they went wrong and how they can perhaps fix it. With the story about the Archie's colour, people make mistakes. People make mistakes.
Thomas Markle actually said on GMB this morning, they had a very sad exclusive interview with him where he was saying that he'd attempted to reach out. We'll talk about the mental health issues in a moment, but he's saying that, you know, she'd essentially, his words, ghosted the entire family, more or less, so that we were here for her to reach out to if she'd wanted to reach out to us, saying that there was no one to talk to. But what he did say about that comment was people make dumb comments that maybe, and this is why I think it's important.
Sorry, Phillip, I just want to say, do not dilute racism.
No. That was my point. That's my point. You actually started that. You started that yourself by saying, you know, these are, you know, so loose comments. And what I'm saying to you now is there's no such thing as a dumb comment when it comes to something like that.
Yeah. It's people make mistakes, racist mistakes, prejudice mistakes, anti-female mistakes. People make mistakes. And it's for the royal family to go, we are not perfect. Of course they're not perfect. And what I'm seeing is fear. And the fear is that the monarchy will somehow be torn down. And Harry was quite clear about the relationship with the royal family and the press, and the fact that the family believe they need the press. They need the press on board for the monarchy to survive, okay? So therefore, when Harry and Meghan were being attacked, it was very easy for them to feel that because you have a survival instinct for the institution, you are willing to sacrifice us. And I'd like the royal family to look a little closer at that and realise that as people, we understand people protecting their family, like Harry's doing, much more than people protecting an institution. An institution is not a visceral thing, okay? So people would always have understood the Queen standing up for Harry and Meghan, and why that was lost, I feel, was because they didn't want to damage their relationship to the press. That is how it's coming across from the interview anyway.